Go ahead.
Good morning, everyone. Want to welcome everyone to the call, you guys. Wow, I hope everyone had a fantastic weekend. It is motivating moving forward. Monday, yay, we made it through the weekend. For anyone that may be new to the platform or to the call, my name is JP. I'm from Little Rock, Arkansas. I have the distinct honor and pleasure of hosting this call Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. Central Standard Time, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We at Life Changing Alliances have a motto: if we can change you, then you can change your world. Guys, please believe me that your environment will adjust to you, whether that's negative or positive. So be mindful of that. We are still studying and reading from the book titled The Success Principles by Jack Canfield. The Success Principles by Jack Canfield. You can download that book to your electronic device, or you can purchase the hard copy. If you purchase the hard copy, please purchase the updated version of that book, because that is the one that we are studying and reading from. This morning, as usual, you will be hearing from two dynamic leaders, speakers, and authors. The first voice that you will hear after mine, and the first face you will see if you are on video platform, is Mr. Jamal Mumford. He is the awesome author of a book titled Success Now. He helps individuals on a daily basis with their self-development, such as myself, and he travels extensively doing that, guys. The next voice that you will hear after Mr. Mumford, and the next face you will see, is none other than Mr. Motivator himself, Kim Satchel. He is the author of the book titled Alcoholics versus Struggleaholics. And guys, he also travels extensively helping individuals with their self-development on a daily basis. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce to some and present to others Mr. Jamal Mumford. Mr. Mumford, are you still clear with us this morning, sir? You got to unmute him, Coach.
Oh. I'm trying.
Uh-oh.
Thank you, Mr. Satchel. Appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Like God over there. Yes, God. Please, God, release me. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, LCA family. Everybody looks good out there. Happy Monday morning to everybody. Hope everybody had a great, wonderful weekend. I sure did. Tina, are you still out of town? Are you down there from St. Croix? Wow, Tina is live from St. Croix, the Virgin Islands. She's dialing it from, I guess so. Wow. I saw you driving on the left side of the road there. Well, listen, everybody, I want to welcome everybody to the call this morning. We're so excited to be doing personal development. And what an amazing thing it truly is. And I just applaud all you guys just staying with it, just staying with it to the end. And I promise you, if you keep on doing it and doing it and doing it, I'm over here sweating, just got done running. Man, I got this hot outside. And I tell you guys, just stay with it and with it and with it. And I promise you, the results will come to you. The results will come to you. Just like working out, right? If you stay with it, exercising is not always easy, right? It's hot outside and the body wants to give up and the lungs are overpowered. But, when you feel, I was just thinking this morning, as I run, one of the people said, how do you run 5 miles in the heat, stuff like that? But I know that from working out for many years, that when you start feeling pain, that's the sign of change. Pain is a sign of change. See, and in my times, we try to avoid pain, and life, that's what it's all about. And personal development is that thing that's going to help you to endure the pain. Because if you focus on your ultimate goal and your ultimate why, when you feel the pain, when you feel like giving up, when you feel like the hurt is coming upon, when you want to be depressed, but you're going to decide to be happy anyway. See, that could be painful, but if you press forward through that, that's when change is going to happen. Because I'll give this analogy all the time. When you look at your muscles, you look at your muscle, and this is like our brains as well. Your muscles, the way you build muscles in your body is you have to work it. Now, see, if you're working out, for instance, if you go out for a workout, how many work out, right? And you go out for a workout. Now, some of you my workout will kill you, right? Now, but my workout to my next person will kill me, right? So you gotta go to the threshold of where pain is. So when you're working out, like Kemp's workout, his threshold of pain is going to be maybe less than my threshold of pain, for instance. But if he works out and once he feels the pain and he presses past the pain, guess what? That's when the muscle begins to rip and tear. Because when you feel that pain, that's your muscle tearing, saying your lungs expanding beyond capacity. And they say, oh my goodness. And you thinking to stop, but no, you don't stop. You press forward. And then what happens is it strengthens the muscle. So when the muscle relax, when it comes back, the muscle is stronger. Well, that's just like in life. See, as you go from levels of in life, see, like some of you in projects, and some of you just having that hard struggle because you're afraid of rejection, right, Mr. Satchel? And I mean, how you get over rejection is you look at that damn phone and you look at it and you pick it up and, oh my goodness, you dial the 7 numbers and you make that phone call and say, hey, I got a project I'm working on. Are you interested? Now, there's a pain associated. That's why nobody picks up the phone. Because I was watching a study yesterday, Mr. Satchel. The guy was saying the reason why people have some problem in business is because all their lives they've been programmed, right, to do one way. So when it comes down to pick up the phone and call someone, that's painful. See, but when you pick up that phone and call someone and you press forward through the pain, guess what happens? The next call becomes easier and easier and easier and easier. Folks, that is personal development all day long. So just wanted to kind of share it this morning. I was out there running around and I felt like I had no business. Everybody think I'm crazy. But I'm going to turn the call to Mr. Satchel. The call is yours, sir.
Wow. Don't just be coming to me to call because y'all sweated out and all of that good stuff. Coming, giving us some fast stuff. Look, get it together. It's 9 o'clock. We want 100% of Mr. Mumford. Go come up here and run it. And the call is yours, Mr. Satchel. What? No. You get paid for more than that, brother.
I get paid? Oh, wow. That check is long overdue then.
we promising you.
Okay. The music come, I got you. I understand.
Well, first and foremost, good morning, LCA. Wow, great morning to you. Great Monday morning. Hopefully all of you had a fantastic weekend on purpose. Why? Simply because what? You said so, right? I am totally excited about what's taking place. If you haven't already joined us on our Facebook page, Life Changing Alliances, make sure you go ahead on and do that. And the same exact thing for our Life Changing Alliances. We have been working on updating our website, putting all of the recordings. Let me tell you that I messed up and I let myself get behind with that. And man, oh man, I'm going to make a sacrifice this week and have all of the recordings put up on the website for all of those that do participate. I never knew so many people listen to those recordings. People was like, where's the recordings? We're waiting for the recordings. Where are the recordings? I didn't think nobody's listening to the recordings, but our boy house, soon do you realize people do listen to those recordings when they cannot miss out. That's how serious this is, right, Debbie? Yup, Debbie, like, where the recordings at, Kim? So we are going to definitely get those recordings up and up on the platform. We want to thank all of those who have made a donation to the platform. And at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get right into this book. Clean up your messes and incompletes. Anybody been in a relationship that you just walked out of it and ain't even look back? They ain't even say nothing. Like, I'm just gone. I ain't even call. I'm out. Anybody ever done that? Sure we have, right? Anybody ever just walked off a job? Anybody ever burned a bridge? Anybody burned some bridges in their life? Yeah. Yeah, only one person. Debbie, you the only one listening to me right now because ain't nobody else burned no bridges, right? Just burn some bridges. Any incompletes that's going on in your life that you haven't finished, right? It says, if a cluttered desk, anybody got one? Uh-oh. If your desk is cluttered, it's the sign of a cluttered mind. Uh-oh. Hold on. Let me look at my desk. Clean this thing up right now. Hold on. You know, I don't, it's something about this daggone author, boy. He just bring it to you and he don't even listen. When you read it, it will make you do some quick personal development right then and there. Like reality strikes. If a cluttered desk is the sign of a cluttered mind, what is the significance of a clean desk? Okay, everybody see now the cluttered desk, right? But what is the significance of a clean desk? And if you are in a position, we're gonna get right into this book and get started this Monday. Get on to a great week, because we will have a great week this week, won't we? Yes, we will, on purpose. So the book is up there. Anybody want to read? Just unmute you. Oh, nobody can unmute. Just put your hand up so I can see your hand, and I'll go ahead on and unmute you. Okay. So I know it's Monday. People still trying to get it together and all that good stuff.
Ready to start 6. Anybody? Nobody?
That's it. All right.
Yes,
Take a look.
Sabrina raised her hand.
Sabrina? Okay. Oh, there it is.
Thank you, Bray Bray.
Thank you, Bray.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Are we on principle 28?
28.
Take a look at the diagram above. It's called the cycle of completion. Each of these steps, decide, plan, start, continue, finish, and complete, is required to succeed at anything, to get a desired result, to finish. Yet how many of us never complete? We get all the way through the finishing stage, but leave one last thing undone. Are there areas in your life where you've left uncompleted projects or failed to get closure with people? When you don't complete the past, you can't be free to fully embrace the present.
Say that again.
Are there areas in your life where you've left incomplete projects or failed to get closure with people? When you don't complete the past, you can't be free to fully embrace the present.
All right, let's go.
Failing to complete robs you of valuable attention units. When you start a project or make an agreement or identify a change you need to make, it goes into your present memory bank and takes up what I call attention unit. We can only pay attention to so many things at one time, and each promise, agreement, or item on your to-do list leaves fewer attention units to dedicate to completing present tasks and bringing new opportunities and abundance into your life. So why don't people complete? Often incompletes represent areas in our lives where we're not clear or where we have an emotional, psychological blocks. For instance, you might have a lot of requests, projects, tasks, or other things on your desk you really want to say no to, but you're afraid of being perceived as a bad guy. So you put off responding in order to avoid saying no. Meanwhile, the sticky notes and stacks of papers pile up and distract you. There may also be circumstances in which you have to make decisions that are difficult or uncomfortable. So rather than struggle with the discomfort, you let the incomplete pile up. Some incompletions come from simply not having adequate systems, knowledge, or expertise or handling these tasks. Other incompletions pile up because of our bad work habits.
Talk about what you just read, Sabrina.
Well, I am definitely guilty of that, because prior to starting with our LCA club, I would start books and never finish them. Not because I didn't want to finish them. I would just get started on other stuff and never get back to what I started. So I have a lot of books that I never completed to the very end. And I'm also good at when I don't want to do a task, I'll put it off, and I may never get to it. So I'm good at that too. So sometimes I have to make myself, you know you don't want to do it, at least do something right now. For example, when I went to a training in June, it was a 3-day training, and I decided I was going to do something that I learned before I left Chicago, because otherwise it would have just built up and I wouldn't have done anything. So I do recognize that about myself. I will put stuff off when I perceive it as being difficult.
What do you see what I got highlighted on the book right now?
Yes.
Read that part, what I highlighted.
We can only pay attention to so many things at one time, and each promise, agreement, or item on your to-do list leaves fewer attention units to dedicate to completing present tasks and bringing new opportunities and abundance into your life.
What do you think that means right there?
Sometimes we get so busy doing things that we don't have time for new stuff, and if we don't put closure on the old things or the things we're not going to complete, we don't have room for the new things that are waiting on us.
It then says, the last part, it says, and bring opportunities in abundance into your life. The abundance, and listen to what I'm saying here, many people are constantly starting things like, let me do this, let me try this, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. I want to get into this project. I want to get into that thing. I want to go out here. I want to go on vacation. Like literally, I work a 6-hour job. I sing on the choir. I do all of this. I am a babysitter. I'm a volunteer for this. I do this and I do this. And anything that they're in, they never get to the abundance of that. What's going through your head right now, Mr. Mumford?
Because I'm taking this neuroscience class, and the video I had to watch today, and I said I wanted to show this in the class, but I said it's not going to be. And I didn't read ahead this morning because I got my started I run late, and I said I was going to show this in the class this morning because the lady's talking about how much clutter we have in our life and how the mind works when it comes to clutter. So I said I'm not going to show the video today because I said it's not going to be even relative to the material. And this paragraph is exactly what she was talking about. So I'm saying, you got to be kidding me.
Show the video.
So, I got to try to cue it up because it's 21 minutes long. But
you got time.
All right. Well, I'm gonna do that while y'all do that. I'll have it by the end. But I'm just going to say this that I remember a gentleman said to me, one of my coaches and a friend of mine, and he's very big in psychology and so forth, and he said something to me, and I was telling him I'm such a multitasker. He said, Jamal, he said, let me explain something to you that it may be contradictory to what you may believe. How many of us say we're multitaskers? And people say women are multitasking more than men. Everybody say multitaskers. He said your brain doesn't have the ability to multitask. Your brain doesn't have the ability to, for instance, so it's like, I can't say I'm working on my project and trying to do this. Your brain can only focus on one thing at a time. Now, you may try to go through 20 things at one time, but you're really not effective at all, right? It's like the guy said, you're like an octopus on roller skates, right? You got all this activity going in your life, but you're going nowhere. So you're going to church, you're drinking the kids, you're being the wife, you're doing all these things, but there's nothing really progressing in your life. So your brain, you have to focus on one thing. But I'm gonna try to cue this up because I gotta put in the password and it's only got me on my mobile, so I'm trying to get on my computer. But I'll go back to I try to cue this up. It really shows why we can't succeed in life because we got so much stuff on life, and it's just showing how technology was actually. I remember you always said the phones. We got so much stuff going on she said is actually zapping the creativity out of our brains. And so you can't even succeed in anything because your brain, your neurons are just diminished in your brain. You got so much going on. But I'm gonna try to find it. Go ahead, sir.
Go ahead, Sabrina.
Oh.
Getting into completion consciousness. Continually ask yourself, what does it take to actually get this task completed? Then you can begin to consciously take that next step of filing completed documents, mailing in the forms required, or reporting back to your boss that the project has been completed. The truth is that 20 things completed have more power than 50 things half done. One finished book, for instance, that can go out and influence the world is better than 13 books you're in the process of writing. That's good. Rather than starting 15 projects that end up incomplete and take up space in the house, you'd be better off if you had just started 3 and completed them.
Continue.
The 4 Ds of completion. One way to take care of the to-do items is something we've all seen in time management courses. The 4 Ds. Do it, delegate it, delay it, or dump it.
First time for me.
Do it, delegate it, delay it, or dump it. When you pick up a piece of paper, decide then and there whether you'll ever do anything with it. If not, dump it. If you can take care of it within 10 minutes, do it immediately. If you still want to take care of it yourself, but know it will take longer, delay it by filing it in a folder of things to do later. If you can't do it yourself or don't want to take the time, delegate it to someone you trust to accomplish the task. Be sure to have that person report back when he or she finishes the task so that you know it is complete.
4 Ds, do it. This is where I think the real thing comes in for most. Delegate it. Okay? Do it and learn how to what? Delegate it. How many of us we feel overwhelmed with things all the time? And there's a reason why we're constantly telling you to get into a place where you can leverage. Like people say, well, Kemp, how did you do it? I was working 70 to 80 hours. Well, guess what? I can leverage a newspaper that's being delivered every day, and they can what? I can delegate it to get it done. Am I making sense? Well, most people will say, I don't have what? Time to get it done. Am I making sense there? So there's a number of things that's going on here. Delay it or dump it. Okay, and that's why it's imperative that you have a what? A to-do list. Man, this has been working for me. I mean, I was just like last night, I was working on that daggone to-do list. Didn't have no TV on, and it does make a difference. I just test this. I'm not just like, I'm not reading this. I'm going like, when I say I'm working on myself to become a better person every single day, believe that. Okay, go ahead, Sabrina.
And speaking of delegate, I'm still looking for somebody that I can delegate my potential business partners to make the phone call.
There it is. Look, you can pay somebody. I know you pay. I know you got enough money over there. Go ahead and hire. See, look, she's out trying to give it to somebody, right? Volunteers, any volunteers want to make this? And that's another thing they say. If you don't like it because it still got to get done, guess what? Leverage somebody. You know how many senior citizens will work for $5, $7, $8 that's just saying, can I make some extra money? And they'll say, oh, I'll simply sit here and make calls for you all day long for 2 or 3 hours. I pay my son $10 an hour just to send out text messages. $30. Guess what? It will make a difference. It's just that thinking, how the boss thinks. Go ahead, boss lady.
I'm gonna keep that in mind too.
Exactly.
In addition to making spaces for something new. In addition to professional incompletes, most households are also groaning under the weight of too much clutter, too many papers, worn out clothes, unused toys, forgotten personal effects, and obsolete, broken, or unneeded items.
Hold it. Stop. Read that one again.
In addition to professional incompletes, most households are also groaning under the weight of too much clutter, too many papers, worn out clothes
that don't fit,
unused toys, forgotten personal effects, and obsolete, broken, or unneeded items.
Okay.
And I'm a witness. I just cleaned my closet out 2 weeks ago and gave out all them clothes that I haven't been able to wear in years. And I finally said I'm not getting back in that size. So I finally
Oh, what about the shoes? Is all right. Like I had a conversation with somebody. They said I ain't getting rid of them shoes. I ain't getting rid. But it's just these kind of things that can make a difference. Oh my God. I'm not going to get into that. Y'all know what this book is saying. Keep reading. I'm glad Jack is saying it, not Kim. Go ahead.
In the United States, the entire mini storage industry has sprung up to help homeowners and small businesses store what they no longer can fit into their homes and offices.
Big business, ain't it? It seems like storage is just opened up all over the place. For real, what's in that storage closet that you going to go back to? If you ain't used it in literally 6 months, you don't need it.
And then if you do decide you need it, you're not going to feel like going to the storage unit.
Right. And then it's going to be all dusty and more. I don't want this. And you pay yourself. Go ahead.
But do we really need all this stuff? Of course not. One of the ways to free up attention units is to free your living and work environments from the mental burden of all this clutter. When you clear out the old, you also make room for something new. Mm-hmm. By the way, that's why I cleaned out my closet. I can make room for the new.
I know that's right.
Your clothes closet, for instance, if you've got one of those where you can't put another thing into, where you struggle to pull out a dress or a shirt, that may be one reason why you don't have more new clothes. See, I hadn't even got this far yet. There's nowhere to put them. If you haven't worn something in 6 months and it's not a seasonal or a special occasion item, such as an evening gown or a tuxedo, get rid of it. That does not apply to shoes. If there's anything new that you want in your life, you've got to make room for it. I mean that psychologically as well as physically. If you want a new man in your life,
Go ahead, keep reading, Sabrina.
If you want a new man in your life, you've got to let go of or forgive or forget the last one you stopped dating 5 years ago. Because if you don't, when a new man meets you, the unspoken message he picks up is, this woman's attached to somebody else. She hasn't let go. A woman in one of my seminars admitted that for years, she's kept piles of books and magazines on her bed, a collection that eventually covered over half the available sleeping space. When she also mentioned that she had suffered terribly from a broken romantic relationship, it was instantly obvious to me that covering half her bed with piles of reading materials was her unconscious way of making sure there was no space for a man who might romantically be interested in her. Okay, how about half my bed is full of books and laptops? Not only has she failed to complete the past, the part of her that was afraid of being hurt again was making darn sure a similar unwanted future didn't show up either. After helping her see the connection between this self-imposed barrier and the lack of romance in her life, she used EFT tapping to release her fear of being hurt. I don't know what that is.
Emotional freedom techniques. We'll talk about that. I know exactly what that is. Awesome. It's like acupuncture, but you're doing it with your tapping, like tapping parts of your. We'll get into that. Go ahead.
Okay, after helping her see the connection between this self-imposed barrier and the lack of romance in her life, she used EFT tapping to release her fear of being hurt, clearing the clutter off her bed and made her bedroom inviting and welcoming again. Within months, she met a wonderful man who has become the love of her life.
Wow.
My good friend Martin Rudd once told me that whenever he wants to bring in new business, he thoroughly cleans his office, home, car, and garage. Every time he does, he starts getting calls and letters from people who want to work with him. Others find that doing spring cleaning helps them gain new clarity on problems, challenges, opportunities, and relationships. When we don't throw away clutter and items we no longer need, it's as if we don't trust our ability to manifest the necessary abundance in our lives to buy new ones when we need them. But incompletes like this keep that very abundance from showing up. We need to complete the past so that our present has the space to show up more fully.
Jesus Christ.
This has been knocking me upside the head on every paragraph.
You know, for those that are actually reading this, this is definitely an area, and if we're not just going to talk about the tangible things, but the psychological things that have been actually wearing us out to the point that if you hear, and I think I've probably read like at least 3 or 4 books during this personal development where it has been talking about forgiveness, letting go, right? Let your past be your past as a measurement so that you can like go head on into your present. And some of us do. I mean, I was just like, in fact, I got to do this too because I was showing Mr. Mumford. I was like, Mr. Mumford, can you wear this shirt? It's just sitting in my closet, and my closet is just like, eh. But guess who gonna get rid of that stuff today, right? And I am so serious. Like, go ahead, Sabrina.
I said, Lee ain't gonna get rid of your stuff.
we had the same thing. I mean, and it's just, you know, so much. I love to test this author. I love because at the end of the day, he says something right here. He says, many of us, when we don't throw away, it's like, my goodness, others find that doing spring cleanups help me gain clarity. But he was saying that we're afraid. It's like a scarcity mentality. You're afraid to like let it go because you don't think that you can replace it, and it may look like you got like anybody ever gotten a brand new refrigerator and it looked crazy because it didn't have nothing in it, and you like went shopping just because you want, like, I know I have that. It's like I do not like a refrigerator that look empty. Like this refrigerator, but when you go and clean the thing out, literally, it's just something psychologically that's taking place that it will be replaced. I think Mr. Mumford was saying that, and as well as when you get rid of stuff, you got to replace it with, don't leave it a void. See, all of this psychological stuff that you can't go to the store and buy. You know what I'm saying? Like you could go, like on the outside, you could go to the store, you can get some hair, you could go get some eyes, you get everything on the outside, but that internal stuff, this is stuff that is psychologically happening and you don't understand. So I can understand why Mr. Mumford is taking this class on neuroscience and understanding, because guess what? Many of us feel like, okay, like Mr. Mumford had somebody call him and say, I'm doing this, right? But I'm not getting the results that you're getting. Now, where's that at? Like some of us have done the personal development, but at the end of the day, it's not a switch. You follow what I'm saying? It's not like a light switch that you can just turn it on at a situation and then say, like, for instance, they say give money away and expect it to come back, because you can't just turn it on and turn it off. This has to become patterns of thinking, if that's making sense. You want to kind of cover that a little bit more, Mr. Mumford? Oh, okay. All right, gotcha. All right. Good.
Yeah, that's real good, and I'm glad you said that, Mr. Satchel, because it's, you know, there's so many dynamics to making this thing work, and that's why I would tell people that try to apply one principle, and this stuff don't work. It's like giving, like you said, like, you know, well, I give money, I've been giving tithes for 20 years to my church. I'm not rich, I'm not wealthy, but what's wrong what's going on? And there's so much more to the equation than just trying to take the action. You know, for instance, like I said, it could be things that you're saying right now that you maybe, like I said, last week I was listening to one of my mentors, and he brought up something that I used to always say, and this is something I learned in the church. And he said, no, that's a scarcity statement. He said, now break down that statement that everybody says about praying. And I said, oh my goodness, he's right. Because he says actually contrary to what it actually says. You should be saying one thing, but you say another thing. And see, these are little things, little idiosyncrasies, as they say, that you got going on inside of you. So even when it comes to clutter, I remember Artemis Limper. I encourage any of you ladies out there, look her up, Artemis Limper. She's very good at teaching about getting rid of busyness. And she told me one thing about you got to clean the clutter, because she says, like you said, if you have a cluttered closet, you have a cluttered garage, a cluttered attic, that's symbolic to a cluttered life. And she said, what you want to do is, she said, it may not sound right, but once a month, give away some clothes. Give away some clothes. Take it to Salvation Army. If you want to get the tax file, she said, get the tax file, what you want to do, but clean the clutter in your life. I want to play this video. I'm only going to play 5 minutes of it because it's talking about, it's called about the white space. She says, you got to get back the white space. And it was the right, and she's going to explain what it is, but it's talking about how busy our lives are and how we're so cluttered. I'm going to play 5 minutes of it. I'm not sure if I got the power to do it, Mr. Satchel, or.
Yeah, you can just hit the share button and then make sure before you start playing it, it's something at the bottom of that screen that says play the sound as well. So you hit
share computer sound.
Yes.
Or optimize for full screen video clip. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and I just want you guys, I mean, and it may be over the top for some of you because it's like these are psychologists that are breaking down these things, but she's just going to give you an example of, I'm just going to pay a point of what's called this white space, and you got to get to the point of getting this white space. And she's talking about, like, if your life is so cluttered, your space is there. To live an uncluttered life, to live a peaceful life, it's there, but it's being clouded by all the junkiness and all the stuff you got in your life. So just watch it, and maybe you guys will have some questions. Hopefully you guys understand it, but I'm going to go ahead and play it. Hold on 1 second here. Let me. Tell me, can you see?
Yep, we can see it.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Fried,
can I hear it?
we belong in the food court of a county fair. And it's a gigantic problem for creative people, for high-minded people, because when talented people don't have time to think, life and business always inevitably suffers. Now, instead of thoughtfulness, most folks typically choose instead exertion. They put the pedal to the metal as fast and hard as humanly possible, and everybody's exertion story looks a little bit different from others. So this is you are a room full of health-minded, high achievers, so perhaps some version of the following might look familiar to you. You get up in the morning, you hit the snooze button, you sleep for 5 more minutes, you shower, you brush, get into the kitchen, looking for breakfast, maybe avocado toast, maybe egg white omelets, haha, yeah, right. You grab a kombucha and an exo bar, and you head off to your morning routine. You do a 5-minute journal, and then some cardio, and then some squats, and then a little inversion, time for meditation, then mindfulness. You do a little Reiki on yourself, and don't forget your bulletproof coffee. And then you start checking your email and your Facebook and your Instagram and your Twitter, and there certainly is a lot of information to digest, but that's okay because you read really fast. And then you start checking your inbox, 1 for emergency, 2 for time sensitive, 3 for this can wait. You end up with 227 ones and a 3. You go to a meeting and another meeting and a lunch and a little hot yoga, and then suddenly you get a message from your mom who has learned how to text. She's trying to book tickets for Thanksgiving and she can't figure out how Orbitz works, and she thought that you could help, and you text back, Mom, I'll text you back later, and you rush around here and you rush around there, and you rush around here and you rush around there, and all day long you almost pee. But actually, there is no peeing. We have no idea how this works. It's some sort of magical, spontaneous reabsorption. We just, okay? And this is how we're going to be superheroes. This is how we work. This is how we live. This is how we create. And it's a little funny, but what does it cost? What does it cost you? What does it cost you in creativity, in productivity, in engagement? What does it cost you at home? So my life and my work is I spend 100% of my time studying, talking about, consulting about, and speaking about unnecessary busyness and its opposite, the pause. The beautiful time that is liberated when we remove some of that frenzied low-value activity, and we call this found capacity white space. Well, I will tell you that white space was originally created not for individuals or for entrepreneurs. It was originally created, our body of content, for executives who wanted to unburden their busy teams and make them more thoughtful to regain professional capacity in corporations. But I will also tell you that it is incredibly applicable to be transferred to you, to the entrepreneur, to the individual, to anybody sitting in this room. And I will also make kind of a humble admission that I do not come naturally to the pause. I don't come to the pause because it's part of my core self. I come as I arrive every day at my desk with my core self, with my driven Manhattan-born workaholic tech-addicted self. But I know that if white space can solve my busyness problem, it can solve anybody's busyness problem. So let's explore it. So let's say, what is white space? It is a strategic pause taken between activities. It is the open, flexible, fluid, beautiful time that lurks in between the activities of your busy, busy day. And it is the oxygen that allows everything else to catch fire. Now, here's what's important to remember. It's a pause in your schedule, but it's actually far from empty, because in white space, the mind wakes up. And if you took an MRI scan of your brain during this supposed pause, you would actually see amazing, amazing complex activity in the default neural network of your mind. Activity that has been linked to insight, introspection, memory, creativity, all in this supposed pause. Now, the name came from looking at the white spaces on the calendar and realizing that on the days where there was more literal white space, that everything was different, that everything worked better, that it made us more calm and confident and patient and present. And here's the really cool news. The cool news is that if I locked the door right now to your small business, to your home, to your giant company, you'd already have all the white space you need. You don't have to get it or acquire it or find it. It is there, and it's just buried under junk. So that is our assignment for today, is to liberate some of that beautiful time and bring it to your disposal.
Just wanted to share that part there, Mr. Satchel. I don't know if you anything you want to add to that. I just thought it was pretty powerful, what she just talked about. Anything you want to say to that?
That is like everything. You know, one of the main reasons why I was saying why it was so important for me to get my time freedom, right? Like my time freedom, because first of all, it was about control. It was like, how many of us get into that place where we're just existing? It's just like, or you feel like you're doing all of this stuff and nothing's getting done. You follow what I'm saying? It's like no white space, no time. Like right after this call, you know what I do? We take time out to pause. Mm-hmm. Like I don't just get right, like my phone will ring half the time right after the call, but I will not answer that call right away, because I'll take the time to pause. And it'll just be a conversation of where me and Mr. Mumford Lynn, we're just talking about, guess what? Creation, what's going to happen on the next, or what we're doing, or talk about what happened on this call, you know, how we can make the call better or something. But we're in more of a creation. We're in what we call our creative space. Am I making sense? See, this is where, you know, it's important, because the mentor that we have, he said it is important that you get into your creative space. She called it white space, right? But at the end of the day, when she was, you know, they was laughing the way she was, because that's how my day used to be. I would get up in the morning. Most of the time, I'm late. I'm running late. I got to do this. I got to do that. I got to get to the store. I'm in traffic. Once I get to the office, we had all of these schedules that we had on our walls. Like it was like I had to look in the refrigerator, make sure this was ordered, make sure that was ordered. I had to make sure the safe was counted. I had to make sure, like it was like cluster. And guess who actually has the best life? The boss.
Mm-hmm. Mm. Wow.
You're saying, oh, I'm not saying, guys, I'm not saying, and I don't ever want to appear that I'm knocking a job. But there's so many things that's not allowing you to operate in your purpose when you're under somebody else's what? Control, because they're controlling you so that they can have their creative spaces and that they can do what you follow what I'm saying? Like, don't get me wrong. The reason why so if I keep saying I love my job, then what am I doing? I'm mentally justifying it and it'll stay right there with me. But to live your best life, there's things that they do. And that's the programming like we're talking about.
You know, and the challenge is, and I'm going to use you as an example of this because I think that, you know, I'm learning this now, but watching you do this really taught me a lot of lessons because, and you do it better than anybody else that I've seen because, you know, I watch you go through struggles, Mr. Satchel. And firstly, folks, you have no idea the kind of struggles he had to endure, right? But he told himself, and I said, dude, what are you doing? He said, Jamal, I'm going to lock myself in my basement and I'm not coming out. And I'm like, dude, what about the kids? What about like, let's go out? What about like doing this? And what about this? And what about that? What about, we got to go to these conventions and stuff. But he knew that, the hardest part about this is really letting stuff be as it is. And he said, listen, I'll get to it in 3 months or whatever. But right now, I'm going to lock myself in my house. And what he did was he went from $0 a month to $10,000 a month. I'm just telling his business, right? Because I'm going to show you something here. He went from $0 to $10,000 a month in a matter of 6 months. Him and I both did. We was in our lowest ends. We was in Atlanta, Georgia. Everything was done. Lost everything we had. And we got on the phone together. Me and him said, all right, we're going to work this business for the next 90 days. We didn't worry about, I know I'm not saying what it said. I'm just being honest with you. Because everything else around us, if we gave attention to it, it was going to be bad anyway. So 3 more months, like the guy said, when it comes to getting out of debt, what's 3 more months? If you got to work hard on your project for the next 3 months, don't worry about the kids, don't worry about cleaning the house, and work for 3 months. Guess what? When that 3 months is over, me and Mr. Satchel, we was at $10,000 a month residual income in a matter of 4 months, from September to January. What we did was we got into the white space. I didn't even know what that was now, Mr. Satchel, looking back at it. We were doing it. Mm-hmm. And I'm just saying, folks, that this is something that, listen, and I was still working a part-time job. But when I got that part-time job, I made sure most of my focus was maintaining that white space, as she said now. And I'm telling you, folks, this is the hardest part. If you do it, I promise you, 3 months from now, you'll be so free. You'll be so free. And I'm telling you, that freedom is unlike no. Some of you guys really want to leave your job and you got them stressful jobs. I'm telling you, if you just work hard and tap into the white space. I know you got stuff going on. I know you're going to try to argue with me to death that I got to do this. Listen, and my pastor was the biggest one that liberated me. Because I would tell Mr. Satchel, listen, we had church on Sunday, 2 services. We had Tuesday night food ministry. We had Wednesday night Bible study. We had Thursday food ministry. We had Friday night services. And then we had Saturday evangelism team. So I told him, dude, I don't got no time to work this business. I got church commitments. I'm doing God's work. And then I saw my pastor come to church one Sunday. He says, guys, we're no longer doing Friday night services. He says, because I am going to spend every Friday with my mentor. I'm going to fly to LA every weekend. For the next year, I'm going to meet with my mentor so we can grow our ministry. Now, we were having a hard time growing our ministry. We was at capped at 2,000 members. But folks, when he took off and got into his white space and paused stuff in the ministry, he had another pastor preach on Wednesday nights so he can better himself. And when he came back off that mission, the church grew to 5,000 people. We had three sister churches, and we bought a bigger church in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. The point that he paused, and that taught me everything about life. Mr. Satchel, back to you, sir.
Pause. pause. And some of us really know that is so important. Pause. Really, what do you really, 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 really do? And I want you to write that down. What is really what you're doing that's working towards your freedom? Right? Gentleman said he got rid of everything. Like really, what did you do this weekend that really worked towards you becoming free?
Like some of the ladies, Mrs. Satchel, I mean, we was playing with Lynn yesterday, right? Just give an example, right? We were playing with her, but like Lynn loves to cook. She is a giver of all things. So Mrs. Satchel decided, to make breakfast, right? And
oh my God,
Lynn is so gone when it comes to doing things for people that if he goes in the kitchen, I'm over here, and it's like, when it's like, I gotta do it, and it's like, listen, just go sit down. It's okay, baby. I got it. See, I want to use an example. If that's tall telling to all of us, we can't even pause to enjoy life.
Mm-hmm.
We can't even let the stove. I said, it's okay. It's God. I tried to find everything. See, it's God's day. Look, the Lord said I work on His day.
Right,
and,
right.
That's how we so programmed. But look at everything in life, Mr. Satchel. Anybody want to talk? I mean, come on now.
Mm-hmm. I just said stop. Just stop. I said, Mr. Mumford, I'm gonna do today is Sunday. I'm gonna do everything. I'm gonna do I got the dishes. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. I was like, get out, exit. Because she do me that way all the time. Get out my kitchen, get out my kitchen. I'm like, listen, sit down. But programming is so much more dominant. And it's like, just stop. For real, today is Monday. I used to say this. I told Mr. Mumford, I said, Mondays used to be so crazy. And I said, you know what, Monday, I'm not doing nothing. And Mr. Mumford like, yeah, okay. Lynn will say the same thing. Okay. But ladies and gentlemen, you got to get that pause in, or you will just...
How do you think this relates to people in the project? Because a lot of them in projects, and I want to keep it relative. How does it relate to people in projects right now? Because a lot of y'all in projects right now, y'all want to be successful. Remember, Satchel, you and I, we talk to thousands of people in our years. And the most thing everybody will say is, I don't have the time.
This is what's so key about this. And I think some of you have seen my video, the video I made yesterday, and I was saying, like, I want to get out of debt. Right? I want to get out of debt. And the way that you think it's almost a thing that you got to do the whole, like you're trying to eat the whole elephant. You can't get out of debt this way. It's patterns that you must learn. Like even when it comes to personal development, can you sit still for just 1 hour and personally take care of you? Like you'll see Mr. Mumford and I, like when we're here, we are doing this right here, right? You don't see a whole bunch of stuff going on. This is me right now. This is your hour. Can you change who you are overnight? No, you can't. But can you take 1 hour out of the day? Right? Like the same thing when we say consistency. That's in order to be consistent, you must be what? Proactive versus what? Reactive. But if you're like, you don't like Sunday, did you do your calendar for this week? Did you do the calendar for this week? Like, really, seriously, can we be honest about this? Did we do the calendar for the week? Did we do a schedule? Did we do things intentional? But at the end of the day, and I'm not saying, okay, you're moving on your emotions. Well, I'm going to do it today. Tomorrow, but you don't have nothing. But your life is going with your emotions. And the gentleman said to me about the project, he said, most of us will not be successful in the project because you're too emotional and too sensitive. So when we get into this area, How many of us can agree with that? And the most important thing is balancing out the emotions, right? She just talked about white space, getting rid of what? The clutter on your desk, right? I'm doing this. Do you have a list? Like I said to a person, you got a business, do you got a database? Where's all the people's names that you don't talk to? Seriously. You got this book, this book, this book, this book, that book, this book. Like, where is everything? You talked to people 2 years ago. Can you go back to those people right now 2 years ago? Oh, yeah, they're in my phone. Oh, man, I got 3,000 people in my phone. I don't have my people in one place that, guess what? I now get, but guess what? How are you going to do the follow-up when we keep saying the money is in the what? The follow-up. Do you think Walmart would have been successful if they only sent out one circular? Literally, business, when it comes down to relationships. Do you have a boo night? Right? A boo night. Is that important? Just create a boo night for your boo or your honey or bunny or whatever you want to call them, or her or it or whatever. But I'm just saying, whatever you want to do it, right? Do you have something delegated like your night to wash clothes? Do you have a delegation day for that? Like, do you have something that you're like on your calendar, Saturday, wash clothes? What you doing? Oh, I ain't doing nothing. Go wash your clothes. It's on the calendar. You can't get yourself all messed up like that, right? Like right now, what I do, if I just get off this call and I go ahead on and put this on the calendar, make sure that I have the recording up, then I won't get behind. Is any of this making sense? This is huge.
Yeah.
So how it relates to your project, it's like, are you saying, okay, between the hours of, I get off this call, what's the next thing that you do? What's on the calendar right after you get off this call at 10:30? I know this is good stuff.
It's so good. And I challenge everyone, and this is something that I challenge you to do. The book I just got done reading called Second Chance, the author said, and I've heard it over and over again, he said, wealthy people, now how many of you want to be wealthy, right? See, we all want to be wealthy. He said, wealthy people say no way more times than they say yes. That was deep for me. That wealthy people say no way more times than they say yes. And I promise you, and I told Mr. Satchel, I said, one of my main goals, some of you may know someone, if I ever could, one of my biggest dreams is to be the kind of coach where I could actually fly and stay with individuals for 2 weeks in their house. Because I know what's going on. I know what's going on. There's so much clutter, there's so much busyness. And I promise you, and people can tell me one thing, but I promise if I sat with each and one of you for 2 weeks, Debbie, Maritza, JP, right, Laverne, Jared, if I sat with you for 2 weeks, I will make you so much more productive than you ever had, because I promise you I will find things that you're doing in your life that you'll need to do. Like, okay, I got to go wash clothes right now. Well, it's Monday. Now, can I ask you a question? How about we leave the clothes there? But I can't. It got to be washed. Okay, do the kids have something to wear tomorrow? Yes. Okay, well, let's leave the clothes here. Let's go make phone calls. But listen, do you have clothes with, do you have no clothes at all? Do you have no socks, nothing? Well, I have like 2 pair. Okay, I leave that there, and we're going to make phone calls today. See, we need that. We see, what I'm saying is that the assignment is really this week is to find things that you're going to say no to this week. And put it to, it's called income producing things, right? What is your main goal? Right? Mr. Satchel said, listen, I'm going to sit at this desk, and I know that's why he's doing so well in his life, because he will sit there and he didn't care about nothing else. Y'all want to do that? Go around the head. I'm not going, right? And we can all, but how many of you got kids? You feel like that's what being a parent is. I got to do everything with my kids. Okay. But how about you got to say no? We got to learn to say no, and we got to find that pause. Hit that pause button. See, the lady said to one time, everybody always busted out crying one time. I was at a coaching session. She said, she called me up to the stage. She says, let me ask you a question. She says, and I want everybody to type this in the room right now. Throughout the week, so let's say there's 168 hours in a week, okay? Out of those hours, how many hours do you spend for yourself? Everybody type that answer in the room. Everybody type that in. How many hours do you spend for yourself? Where did music come from? That was perfect timing.
Absolutely.
Marissa said 4. Now, I'm not including this call. This call is not included that. This call is not included in you spending time for yourself. So if y'all want to retype that, y'all could give new answers. Somebody said 4, 5, 8. Tina said 8, 3. Sharon, 3, 4, 14. Rashina said 14. Rashina, I know you don't spend 14. You work so hard, girl. You be running about like, okay. 10. Beverly said 0. Thank you, Beverly. I honestly don't know. Sabrina said 4. And you know what the coach said after the lady gave the answer? She says, you believe in yourself that much, huh? So you believe in yourself that much. You love yourself that much that you only give yourself 2 hours out of a whole entire week for yourself. And the whole audience just was broken out to, and some of you that catch that, you will get emotional about that when you think about your life. That you care that much about yourself, that you got so much going on, the kids, everybody else, the church, everything else, but you spend 0 hours for yourself. Some of you gave big answers, but I can promise you, you probably don't spend that much time for yourself. Because what you think you spend time for yourself is not really for yourself. That's for somebody else normally. But go ahead back to yourself. I know we're over time, but this is a subject that really, really hits me hard when I look at people's lives. So I'll give it back to you, sir.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's just the truth. It's just like you're thinking you're doing it for yourself, but at the end of the day, you're in traffic for somebody else. You're on a job for somebody else. 8 to 10 hours of your life is like, is it really for you or for somebody else? You look at it because you think that's the only way to make money. That's not. But at the end of the day, it's serious. Like, you know, how many of you sit in traffic for an hour to an hour and a half? How many of you drive? Is that for you? That ain't for you. Even when you're home, what are you doing for you? You. Seriously. Well, I ain't got time right now. The reading. I used to say I don't have time to read. What was I doing for myself? I wasn't doing nothing for myself. Right? But I'm telling you, when you get into working, doing things for you, and people will look at it like you keep saying, and again, listen to us. I want you to listen to something because I just keep hearing this thing in my back of my head and how anything can be justified if you just look at your reality, your results, and face the reality. Like, is it really for you? Just face that. That'll change your life and your perspective of what I said it. If you look at your results, right? Face your truth and you will find your power. Face your truth and you will find your power. Am I making sense? Ladies and gentlemen, we got to go today, but I definitely want to thank each and every one of you for being on this call because, man, it has been, Mr. Davis, good to see you, sir. It has definitely, this chapter has really been, for me, again, it always works on me because that's what I come to this class for. We all work together collectively, but, man, did I get some stuff out of this. EFT is emotional freedom techniques. You can actually type it in Google, the tapping of different areas of you, and it'll literally kind of start setting, it's like an acupuncture, but it's tapping. Emotional freedom technique. I learned a lot about your emotions and why it was so important. Like all of these people that's dying of stress, like high blood pressure, all of these different things, cholesterol, right? All of this stuff there, stress-related diseases that's tapped into what? Your emotions, worrying. Anybody worry? Like, I'm worrying about this. I'm worrying about how this is going to get paid. What is this going to do? Those type of things are, man, they'll kill you. They will literally age you. You will get gray. You will look old. All of this stuff. Right? So it's imperative that you start freeing yourself up from these things. When I learned how anxiety do stuff that like you be in traffic and you running late to work. Is there any anxiety going on right now? Oh Lord, what am I going to do? Yep. And now I need a drink, right? It leads from the anxieties that's going on, or you stressed out. Oh, she irks me. Do you know the stuff that's happening in you? If you could watch, anybody ever see that thing of when you smoke, what your lungs look like from smoking? Like you keep smoking and they black. They show you a good set of lungs and a bad set of. Well, guess what? The same things they show when anxiety, what your hormones produce. So they like say a lot of people are now dying from what? Cancer. Cancer is almost exhibited through you. People say, well, it ain't because my mama got it, you got to have it. It's because you formed your mama's habits that causes you to have it. Am I making sense? You're eating the same diets that she's done. Like she made fried chicken. I love fried chicken. But then it was like baked chicken and all of these different types of things. So I hope everybody got something from this class because it's good. Get rid of the clutter. Right? I always say that to Lynn. I say, get this kitchen, let's get it cleaned up. I don't like it around me. You'll hear it. Like, I'm not fussing, but there's a reason that I don't want a whole lot of, like, when I walk into a kitchen, I need this kitchen to be what? And I think the bigger, but now she said, get a bigger house. You know, sometimes your house is too little. Right? So I need some area for my pot. So now I got to go get a bigger house. I'm just saying, there's a reason for it. Get a bigger closet, then it won't look so clustered, right? Mr. Muffin, I'm done, man.
All right. Well, you guys have a great, great day. And tomorrow, remind me, I'm going to show everyone an actual a physical thing you can do to release stress and anxiety. So it's called the release technique. And I think a lot of you will get a kick out of doing it. So remind me tomorrow, you got to come back tomorrow to learn this technique. I'm telling you, it's going to really help you. I was doing it with one of our members the other day. And she's like, wow, this really works. I can't believe it. So you guys come back tomorrow and I'll show you the release technique tomorrow. You guys have a great day. See you tomorrow morning. Bye-bye. Bye, Brittany. I love Brittany's wave.
Bye, Sharon. We see you today. Glad to see you.
Yes, Sharon.
Yay.
See you, Sharon Porter.
Cool Rashina doing her thing over there.
You shine bright.
Miss Nicole smiling. Hey, have a good day. Denise made it to the camera today. All right.
Oh,
Nina. Mr. Andwell. Deborah. And
Nina with a half face.
Today is Monday. Be waiting on your call. Maritza. And Tina. Enjoy St. Croix.
Yeah, cruising.